You're watching Your New Favorite Song here on AIM Country Music Television, and I'm your host, Mark Gilliott. Today we're hosting a dynamic country trio, Lost Saints, and they're here to tell us about their new song, Rain. Their rich blend of voices brings an authenticity to their storytelling, turning heads all across Nashville. The Lost Saints have quickly gained a reputation for bringing fresh energy to country music with seamless harmonies, reviving that lost art of a vocal-based group. They have an undeniable chemistry that few artists attain. The Lost Saints debut EP released on August 22nd, and they're pushing 50,000 monthly listeners on Spotify with individual songs that have topped 600,000 plays. They're here today to talk about their new song, Rain. So let's welcome them to the program right now to talk about what might just be your new favorite song. Welcome to the show, Afton, Chris, and Derek, the Lost Saints.
Hi.
Glad to be here.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
You're welcome. I'm glad you guys could come. How are you doing today?
Doing great.
Nashville weather is really nice. So
70 degrees and sunny. Yeah, no complaints.
Nice. Yeah, well, I'm up just north of Indianapolis, and we're not quite so warm today. It's pretty and it's fall. We kind of like that part, but yeah, it's cooling off.
Well, honestly, I can't wait for that. But it is getting cooler, but it's still warm, so it's a nice day today.
Yeah, I think you're south of that front that we got.
Oh yeah.
Well, in music business terms, you guys are relatively new as a trio. You met in 2017. You released your first music in 2020. And then August 2025, you gave us a 7-song EP. Could I get one or all of you to tell us the Lost Saint story? How did we get here?
Well, it's they always say I kidnapped them. I mean, I don't think I did, but
It's pretty close. I mean, it wasn't illegal what he did, but it was close.
no, I had moved into a new place, and about three or 4 weeks later, Afton and another good friend of hers moved in downstairs, and it's a small condo building. It's only 12 units. So,
and we still live there actually, which is kind of funny.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, we knock on each other's door if somebody's out of something. But I introduced myself to her, realized we had several mutual friends. She was in Voices of Lee at Lee University in Cleveland, Tennessee. And I had a bunch of friends in Jason Crabb's band that also went there and knew her. So we got to know each other. She'd come up, we'd sing around the piano. And I mean, I've always been a group singer. It's just something I've always liked. I've never wanted to do really anything by myself. And so she'd come up and we'd sing, and my wheels kind of started turning a little bit. And I'd met Chris through a friend of ours, and he and I had written together a couple times. He was really doing the solo thing. But we shut that down fast.
Enough of that.
Oh, thank goodness.
So I convinced the both of them to going over to a friend of mine who produces a lot of gospel and bluegrass music, going over to his house, and we got around the piano. And that was really the first time we had sang together.
Well, I mean, it was also the very first time I ever even met
Yeah.
Chris.
Yeah, that was the first time we met.
We picked him up on the way, and it was like we just went and sang, and him and I were both oblivious to what was going on in Derek's mind. But
I didn't know it was just us singing either. That's like another thing that we've actually never talked about. In my brain, it was like a bunch of people. You know what I mean? Like there's like a group of people coming to like hang and sing songs and play songs or whatever.
So funny.
And
I feel like every time
not.
we tell this story, like we learn something else.
Remember something
really funny.
else.
Yeah. But yeah, it was the first time we ever met, and we didn't know what Derek was really thinking. And I mean, he'll tell, but we went and sang, and it sounded really good. And we're like, wow, that was really cool. And then we get in the car, and Derek's like, so what about a trio? And I'm like,
and I mean, I had known Afton for what, like almost 2 years at that point.
Yeah, but I still didn't know that was. I just was like, great, we're gonna go sing some songs. How fun!
And I'd known Chris for a little over a year at that time.
And he had already asked me if I would do a group. Like he was like, would you ever be interested in a group? And I was like, no, I would never do that.
Well, I think that makes Derek the mastermind.
It does. And here we are, right? Yeah. I can remember that first year after we met, we really didn't rush into like, hey, let's be a group and try to make it. And we just kind of hung out and
We had to win Chris over. He was not easily sold on us, even though it sounded good.
well, I'll tell you what won me over. During that time of hanging out, we went to a couple of different parties, industry parties, or someone having a Christmas party or something. And, our friends would be like, hey, y'all should sing something, sing something for everybody. Like, you guys sound great together. And I can remember singing something, and the room was just awestruck. And I can remember thinking, like, people don't respond to me like that. They're just responding to us like that. Maybe I need to get in this boat over here. And I'm glad I did.
Yeah, you guys, like I said earlier, I mean, you've not been together that long in musical terms, but like your voices, they blend, and it's almost like one instrument when you hit some of those harmonies, especially on the song we're playing today. There's that place where you guys all hit it, and it's it's obviously three people singing, but it could be a keyboard sample. It's just so right down the center. It's perfect.
Wow.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, and that kind of happened that very night. So I wouldn't say that we worked really hard. I think the blend was just there. And obviously we work mechanically, right, to not be
And you learn
sharp and
each
flat,
other.
but that blend was just really magical. And that doesn't always happen, even if you have the three best singers
Yeah.
in the world. So really cool.
That's awesome. How did you come up with the name Lost Saints?
Okay, really quick. I'm so sorry. My cat is in here and I know she's gonna scream. So like while we like have a second before we go to something new, I'm gonna let her out so she doesn't freak
Okay.
out.
You have to keep that in. You got to keep it in.
Her cat's very vocal.
Well, this
This cat's going to be singing along here.
is
Oh, look.
Mia.
Yeah,
Bye, Mia.
I bet we leave that in. Just show how hard it is to get all you guys to the table.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
She's like, do I hear my friends?
I
Yeah,
know.
exactly.
She's been sleeping all day and I saw her creeping out. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, I am so interested in this.
Yeah.
I think anytime we talk about your sound, it's going to lean toward harmonies because they really are flawless. But how would you describe your sound to someone you've just met and not sung for yet?
I always say I have this little catchphrase that I've been using called harmonies until it hurts. Like we want the harmonies to be so much a part of the song that you just know it's us in the verse and the chorus. And we always really push our mix engineers too, to push those harmonies up, up, up until they're uncomfortable and they're like, I can't even really tell what the melody is or who's the lead. And we're like, then you got it. You did it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the way we sing stuff too. I mean, everybody, we switch off on leads, but even when somebody's singing a part, they're singing their part like it's the lead vocal.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think that's I think we can see it on this song. We're here to talk about your latest release, Rain. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that song and then we'll play it so everybody can get a little taste of what I'm talking about here.
Go ahead, Chris.
So we actually got a hold of this song through our team. One of the writers on our team, Dave Turnbull, was Dave on this or was it just CJ? Was it CJ and Dave?
I want to say no, maybe.
Just CJ?
I think it was just CJ.
So rewind, the publishing side of our team at Two Hats knows a lot of writers and heard the song that was not going to be released by the guy that wrote it, who was an artist. And we were like, this song is set up for amazing harmonies, like it's just written for that. So we fought to like get our hands on it, and be able to try to do a demo and see if it worked. And it did. It was just one of those things where Derek definitely lives in our tenor alto range, and I live a little lower, and obviously Afton
I
on
want
top
to
of
live in an
everything.
alto range, but because of Derek, I have to live in skyscraper land.
There you go. You shoved right up there, huh?
Oh yeah.
So CJ is the CJ you're talking about. That's CJ Solar, right?
That is CJ
Yeah,
Solar.
he's one of my favorite writers. I love the way I just love his style of writing. It's really
he's
good.
Great. He's a super nice guy.
Good dude, yeah.
Like he loved what we did with the song. And sometimes being in a group, you got to get a little creative. It wasn't. We always look at how innovative we can make the song as a trio instead of just going by the book or playing inside the line. So on this particular one, I take the verses and the melody actually becomes Derek in the chorus, which is kind of a Montgomery Gentry type thing, which was really, really cool. And I think it served the song really well. And so we had just never, it's just such an interesting concept, to have this picture perfect moment in an unperfect scenario, and we thought that was like so cool. So we jumped on it. Yeah.
Well, that's fantastic. Yeah. I'm just kind of thinking my way through that stuff. And to me, the idea that you got that song, how did it come about? Do you guys send people out looking for songs, or do artists come after you? You said something about a team. Where does all this come from? I see some of your names on some of this stuff, but mostly you have been picking other artists writing. So how do you go about picking the songs you want to record? Do they come to you, or do you go to them? How's that happen?
So we write a lot of our songs. Everything before we signed our deal with Two Hats that we released, we've written. This was the first opportunity that we had joining up with them for them to go out and try to find better songs through their relationships. And because of that, several of those were written by Dave Turnbull, and a couple were written by people that I had written with before that had kind of sat around or didn't really work, things that we had on our radar a little bit. And then our manager and the label would just go and say, hey, what do you think about this? Or like, hey, I think this could be really great. Whereas before we signed, it was really hard to get your hands on amazing songs because we just didn't have the momentum yet, right? And so once we had a little bit of music and people started hearing what we do, it made it a little easier to get our hands on some stuff, thinking that it could do something a little bit bigger than what we could before. So,
well, yeah, I think that's true. When you get that momentum of having a song like this one out there, I think it definitely makes people stand up and say, maybe we should let these guys have that.
Exactly. They don't want to just give their best stuff away to someone they've never heard of. So it was helpful. And our team, we had like Dave Turnbull was writing for Two Hats, and we had, Ilya Tushinsky producing. So, these people have further reach than what we did, especially at the time. So it just kind of allowed us to have access to stuff that we didn't before, which we were very excited about.
Well, I'm ready to play it now. How about it? You guys like to play it now?
Let's do it.
Sounds good.
Great. You're watching the Lost Saints video for Rain here on AIM Country Music Television.
Tires slipping in the gravel, pulled over and put it in park. We jumped out and started walking, about a half mile from the car. Yeah, I still remember how the air got heavy and cold. We just held on tight as the sky let go. Rain falling on sundress, rain dripping off a midnight kiss, laying there soaking wet, something I'll never forget. The sound, the feel, the taste of you and rain. It wasn't anything like them songs everybody sings about. There wasn't no sunset, no stars were coming out. We lay there in the grass under that magnolia tree, two hearts beating like thunder, and you fell into me like rain falling on a red sundress.
Wow, your harmonies are great. It really sounds like you've been singing together your whole lives. That's amazing.
That's a good compliment.
Well, it
We've
feels like we've known each other our whole lives.
yeah, it does kind of.
You can hear it in our voices.
I say all the time, like we really are like siblings. It's like I'm the middle child, and the other two fight.
There you go. Well, that's the funny part because I didn't know you. So when I got it, it's like I'm looking for husband and wife. I'm looking for siblings.
Right.
Looking where's that connection where they've been together forever. Because I did pick up. This is my first experience was Rain, and
Okay, yeah.
and hearing this song, it's like wow, that is so tight. I had like Flat River Band or American Blonde. Presley and Taylor, those
Yeah.
siblings where they've been together their whole lives are you can tell it. But you guys, I think you guys fall in that category. You've really got that.
Well, I mean, and we get asked that a lot if we're related.
Well, it genuinely does feel like we have known each other forever. It's so crazy. We talk about this, like, so Chris, he's the only married one in the band, and we actually didn't meet before he got married. So we weren't even at their like wedding. And it feels so crazy because it's like we're literally like brother and sister, best friend, like we're family. It's like so weird. And yeah, it's a wild thing to, I mean, you have best friends and you have actual blood brothers and sisters, but like there's just like a bond that we have that like really just you can't explain. It's a very wild thing.
Yeah, it's been cool. We, on the sibling thing, like man, you guys probably agree. I feel like that's kind of the highest compliment you can get as like a singing group. And we've had the honor of opening up for people before and people discovering us like Diamond Rio or Oak Ridge Boys and just being like, man, you guys got to be family. Like, how do and that's just so rewarding when you work hard, to hear people say that about your music and your sound. And so that means a lot to us.
Like going back to Rain, what about that song got the three of your attention when you heard about it? Was there an emotional connection specifically, or just loved the tune? What was it you said, hey, we got to get this one?
I mean, I think for me specifically, like our team actually had this song for, a couple months, and they were throwing a bunch of songs at us, and we were trying to kind of like figure out what we were going to release with them and, what the EP was going to look like. It's probably like a year ago. And I mean, they just wouldn't really like give up on it. They were like, dude, we just think this song, like keep listening to it, like just put your vocals on it, and the more that we listened to it and like sang with it, it was just kind of like this undeniably powerful song that allowed our vocals to really like soar and come together. And so I think it definitely, I mean, CJ Solar's incredible, the song's incredible, but there's incredible songs and it doesn't always mean that that's going to be right for you to sing, especially when we didn't write it, right? So we lived with the song, and after a while we were like, wow, it became one of our favorites like fairly quickly. But yeah, I think to me personally it was just the way that the chords landed together, the way our voices sounded on it. It was just a really powerful song, and that's I think what drew me into it the most.
Yeah, I think the chorus sounds like it was written for you, at least the way you recorded it. It seems like somebody said, hey, I think these guys would be great for this song.
Yeah. Thanks.
If you guys were to close your eyes and dream a little bit, where would you see the Lost Saints a year from now? Where do you guys feel like you're headed? Where you're determined to head in the next year or so?
Man, like, does anyone want to start?
Any takers?
Doing 150 dates a year has been.
Yeah, I think touring's a really big one. We've played a couple shows like the last half of this year, and it's been a blast. And we've like really seen some like good responses to music that we haven't released yet, which is also really good. We've had some meetings with some people that we think could really like help us, next year to like push the music to a new level. So I think there's a lot of things in the works. But for me specifically, I think like I'm really looking forward to touring, to like going out and meeting people and like getting in front of people. I think something that we do really well is like sing live. Like sometimes we feel like it's a hard thing to translate that like a record into what we do live. So I think that's like our goal, our special sauce, and I think like we really want to be able to do more of that next year.
Yeah, and I think along with that, I just, we have another EP coming out that's gonna have a couple waterfall singles too, and we kind of have our eyes on wanting to play the Opry too. That's been a dream since we started, and um, you know, COVID interrupted a little bit of some of that stuff for us, and so yeah, so we're just dreaming big for something like that next year too.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I wish you all the luck in the world on that. I think that you guys got the ingredients here.
Well, thank you.
Well, I really appreciate our time together, but I guess it has to end sometime. So before I let you get away, how about telling us where to find you online, on stage, and where we can buy or listen to all this music?
Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon Music, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all of it.
So Lost Saints, yeah. Well, Lost Saints, just look us up for all streaming platforms. We're at Lost Saints Music for Instagram and TikTok, Facebook, same thing. But yeah, Lost Saints, just find us everywhere.
You can follow us. You can go to our Instagram and join via text for the community stuff and inside scoop and all that kind of stuff. So
fantastic. We can find you when you start this tour that way.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the program. It's genuinely been fun.
Thank you so much for having us.
You're very welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, Lost Saints. So, what do you guys think? Is Rain going to be your new favorite song?
Yes.
This has been Mark Gillia for AIM Country Music Television. Thank you for watching.
Dripping off a midnight kiss, laying there soaking wet. Something I'll never forget. The sound, the feel, the taste of you and rain. There wasn't anything like them songs everybody sings about. There wasn't no sunset, no stars.